So let's start by settling the body, finding a stable, comfortable, upright position, and keeping our feet flat and our back straight, torso open, hands in the lap, right over left, with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open. Try to avoid slouching or leaning, but also avoiding unnecessary tension in the body. So try to relax into the posture. And try to lose interest in whatever's happening around you, going inward, holding your attention just to the body and mind, letting the world around you just be as it is without investigation. And start to use the physical sensation of the air as it passes into and back out of the tip of the nostrils to anchor your awareness, noticing quickly when anything other than that arises in the mind and letting it go without judgment or frustration. and then generate broad and altruistic motivation, intentionally cultivating a very wide circle of concern, thinking of the suffering of all sentient beings, how they've been kind to oneself in this and past lives, wanting to repay that kindness, and thinking how if we can naturally and spontaneously tap into positive mental states and reduce our familiarity with mental states that give rise to our own suffering and motivate actions that cause suffering for others, then we'll be able to effectively work for the benefit of others. And then we will contemplate how our identity appears to the mind and whether that appearance is really valid. So you can start by remembering a time when you felt stressed or anxious, trying not to use a memory that's difficult, but more so mundane. And thinking back to that time, trying to analyze how the identity appeared to the mind. Does it feel as though it's behind the eyes, in the middle of the chest, in the stomach? What kinds of thoughts or sensations, feelings of separation arose strongly in this memory? If we've identified or felt as though the mind is the I, then we can search for it in the mind, noticing in that memory if there was a sense of solidity, a sense of findability, as if a locatable thing was under stress. If that thing is in the mind, we can analyze the mind and point to it. When we turn our attention to the mind, we notice that it's a stream of ever changing mental moments, sometimes angry, sometimes loving, sometimes wise, sometimes dull. So, on which of these experiences can we find what appeared to the mind, that stable, solid, separate self? Try to analyze all of the different kinds of mental events, experiences, and see if you can demonstrate that there's no single unitary mental phenomena that can give rise to the I in the way that it appears to the mind, going back to that memory if necessary to remind ourselves of how solid, how singular the identity appears, how findable it seems. Our identity might seem like it's one with the body. And if that's the case, then in the same way, we can go through the parts of the body, thinking what would happen if I no longer had this finger, this hand, this arm, this foot, this leg. If this organ was replaced with another organ, is there anywhere in the body that we can truly say is the I? Meaning that if it were damaged or lost or replaced, then we would fundamentally be a different person. Or is it likely that we would say, I lost my hand, or I had a heart transplant? See if This solid, seemingly locatable identity is one with the body, as it sometimes appears. You may think that the I is the combination of body and mind, because we sometimes say, my body, we sometimes say, my mind. But recognize that if it isn't locatable in any part of the body or any part of the mind, then the coming together of body and mind is the coming together of a variety of parts, none of which are I. And the coming together of only things that aren't I can't give rise to I. You may think it's completely separate from body and mind. But if that were the case, then we could have experiences that don't depend on either body or mind. We could be one place. Our body could be one place, and we might think that I am somewhere else. Or our body and mind could be doing one thing, but the I is doing a different thing. And recognize that that's not our experience. Though it is true that we do exist, it isn't true that we exist in the way that we appear, in the way that the separate, solid identity appears to the mind. There is a body, there is a mind. They're comprised of innumerable parts, innumerable causes and conditions that give rise to those parts. But that feeling of solidity and separateness, locatability, that's layered on top of what's there by the mind. And try to rest in that non-findability of how the I appeared to your mind. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And then we'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation. Think that by having contemplated in this way, you've actualized that motivation, created positive energy in the mind, and that you freely offer that energy for the benefit of others. Thinking strongly, may it ripen in whatever way is beneficial for sentient beings. May it ripen to put an end to conflict, poverty, disease, natural disasters, all harmful conditions. May it ripen the minds of sentient beings, allowing them to practice the path, achieve the ripening result of the path, including full enlightenment. May enlightenment ripen in my own mind to provide me the ability to benefit sentient beings perfectly. May my merit ripen to pacify any obstacles facing the Guru's long life. And may I and all sentient beings in this moment be guided and protected by enlightened beings until we swiftly achieve a state of enlightenment. Thank you.